you ready? No, I'm serious. Are you ready for this? My new hairs. So if you follow me on Instagram, you guys saw the post I did about changing up my hair. I went with the ombre. I was ready for the change. I've been blonde for like 13 years. When we were doing my hairdresser's like, are you freaking out yet? She's like, usually blondes start freaking out by this point. And I was like, no, I've been ready for it for a long time. We're still going through the process to make sure it blends nicely. So much positive feedback. It was awesome. So thank you guys for that. So welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I have done like an informational video. The last, I don't know how many videos were from Thailand, which I still have so much footage from. It just takes a long time to edit. My camera did die while I was in Thailand, so it was a process just trying to get the a new one, and then I didn't like the new one because it didn't have the flip screen, and I went back to my original old one, which is the Sony A5100. But it's a great camera. It's done me well for the last 3 years, so I'm just sticking with it. But I wanted to get you guys a video, especially now that I'm 2 months in. Are you vegan? Did you go vegan? What is your experience with being plant-based the past couple months? Like, how does your body respond? How has it affected your body? So on and so forth. So I'm going to be going into detail, giving you guys all the information on what I've done, how my body has responded to this, my experience, just sharing, giving you guys all the knowledge and info that you need so you can take it in, absorb it, and do what you want with it. No, I did not go vegan. I am just not eating the same amount of protein that I used to. A lot of my social media posts have been very plant-based, have been very raw. I still do some shrimp, I still do eggs, and then I have my whey protein, which is not a plant-based protein. It is a whey protein that comes from milk. I have not had chicken or red meat or turkey. Well, turkey, oh my gosh, I stopped eating that like probably a year ago. I just got sick of it. I stopped eating it. Chicken has been before Thailand. Red meat has been for a while as well, just because I just didn't feel like I didn't want them. It wasn't for any specific reason. It doesn't sound good to me. I'm not gonna eat it. I'm not gonna force feed myself. I'm gonna eat what I want. And that goes into a lot of you guys have asked about intuitive eating. Are you still doing intuitive eating? Yes, I still am doing intuitive eating. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. I love it. I probably will always be an intuitive eater. Now we'll just touch base on that really quick. Intuitive eating is just eating when you want, how much you want, eating until you're full, and stopping eating when you are full. You know, eating till you're satisfied. But also emphasizing on, I am not eating a lot of junk food, guys. I'm not eating processed foods. This is all raw, nutrient-dense whole foods. Hence why all my posts have been plant-based. You're not seeing I'm eating donuts all the time, and I'm not eating cereals and I'm mixing them in together. You know, I'm eating very raw, nutrient-dense foods. And that's where, when it comes to intuitive eating, that's the important key to remember with intuitive eating. Because I have stopped counting macros. It's been about 2 years now. A lot of my clients that I work with, we start with tracking everything, but just we're trying to build a healthy relationship with food. Sometimes having something to follow, having a little bit of structure makes it easy. It makes it less overwhelming and scary. And then as we work through the program together, we get to that point where we're not going to be tracking anything anymore, and we're going to be choosing our own serving sizes without tracking. You know, you want to get to that point where you're not depending on anything or anyone. You're just like, you know what, I'm gonna have this. You know what, I'm not gonna have this because either that it might not be good for me, or I already kind of splurged a little bit this week, so I'm good, or 3, it just doesn't sound good, I don't want it. When I was in Thailand, I went plant-based. Not because I just decided I just wanted to go vegan, I just want to eat plant. It wasn't because of that. While I was in Thailand, my friend, who's been living there for 12 years, warned me, unless I'm cooking it myself, I need to be really careful with meats because a lot of them aren't thoroughly cooked. You can end up being sick. I don't want to be sick while I'm on holiday, so I decided, okay, I'm not going to eat any meats. But it was so hot and humid, the last thing I want to do was cook. I'm just not gonna even worry about it. I'm gonna eat as much raw as I can, which it worked out perfect for my lifestyle and what I was doing while I was in Thailand. I did have some shrimp and I did have some eggs, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't a lot. It was just kind of like here and there. I was eating rice because that was like the main carb source there, but I was doing a lot of fruits and vegetables, a lot of them, and fats like nuts and things like that. So it was just a variety. So my go-to dish was papaya salad, and I was doing these cashew mixed vegetables. That was like my main dish I was eating a lot of. How do you feel? How are you maintaining muscle? First things first, we got to remember, while I was in Thailand, I was not going to a gym. Okay, I was doing a lot of cardio-based exercise. I was doing like my bands, and I was doing body weight exercises. I was doing a lot of hiking, and I was running up and down stairs and Muay Thai. So that there was no heavy weightlifting. Being on the diet that I was, it worked really well for that, because I wasn't trying to lift heavy weight. I wasn't trying to build muscle. I wasn't trying to burn fat. More I was going for, I wanted performance. I wanted to fuel my body with healthy food, nutrient dense foods, and I just wanted to feel good, and I needed the energy for what I was doing. We're all going on a month back from Thailand now, and I continued with the same eating habits that I had in Thailand. First week, it was great, but I went back into my regular routine before, which I do a lot of martial arts. I do jiu-jitsu, I do Muay Thai, I have my strength training days, I have my cardio days, I have my conditioning days, depending on the week. It changes all the time, but I'm always having 2 consistent heavy weightlifting days. And then I do have conditioning days where I'm doing everything from weighted balls to dumbbells to kettlebells to bands to BOSU balls to stability balls. I mean, a combination of stuff, and I'm always doing something different. From what I was doing in Thailand, my intensity in my exercise increased dramatically. Going into the second week and the third week, the first thing I noticed by not having protein, by not having meat, besides BCAAs and whey protein in my diet, my muscles started cramping. For example, I would be doing some sort of training, doesn't matter what it was, and I noticed that I go to do, I still have strength, but I go try to push this weight, my muscles would cramp up. They felt very tight. They felt like I had no energy. I just kind of, immediately go to that. I'm like, I'm tired. Okay, I'm not going to push myself over my limit. It started being consistent every day that I went to train, especially when I was doing my heavyweight training days. I had everything else in balance, my carbs, my vegetables, my fruits, my healthy fats, and I was intaking BCAAs. I was intaking my carb drink, my Carbolin. I was intaking whey protein. I was doing everything well and properly. This is where I took a step back and I started digging back into my books and into my online courses. I sat down, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find out what's going on. With the knowledge that I knew that I cut out protein, meat protein, my body was letting me know. I mean, it was the cramping and the no muscle energy. The first thing you always want to ask yourself, what is your main goal? What is your long-term goal? Most of us don't look at that when we start something. We don't think about our long-term goal with what we start. We think about, oh, this is just going to give us an instant result right now because that person's doing it. We don't look deeper into what's the purpose of it? What's the goal of it? Which leads to a lot of failures, to frustrations, lack of motivations, and even it can come down to, health problems, health issues. There's so many reasons as to why a person might go vegan, vegetarian, or they do not. So all differences and disagreements aside, we are just going to go in a little bit more of the scientific part of it, of being vegan or not being vegan, how it impacts you on your health and your fitness or your physique journey. How have you maintained your muscle? How are you intaking enough protein? We also live in a society right now that is really putting the focus on you have to intake protein, and a lot of it. I mean, there's so many trends out there. I actually just did an article on this on Facebook with my JH Fit Plan fam. It's part of my app community. People who are using my app. I do a lot of informational stuff, and I go into depth about things that is easy to understand and not too long, about a lot of various things that are happening right now and the confusion and the misleading information that is being put out there. Coming from a nutritionist standpoint, coming from the scientific side of it, we do not need as much protein as being emphasized on. Every single meal needs to have a meat option. Everything has to be protein based. It does not. I am guilty in the beginning of my journey. The amount of protein that I intaked, I mean, I look back and I cringe because I did not need that much. We associate protein with muscle. Protein provides the structure for all living things. What makes protein? How do we get protein? Comes from amino acids. There are 28 commonly known amino acids. Now, all of these amino acids are combined in various different ways to create hundreds of different types of protein. So it's the only nutrient out of all of them that contains nitrogen. What does nitrogen do? It aids in growth and tissue repair, and it plays a role in acids that make up our DNA. And proteins are very important and necessary for all living things. If you didn't already know, protein make up not just muscle, but ligaments, tendons, organs, glands, hair, nails, and vital fluids in the body, and also bones. Proteins help regulate water balance and proper pH. You can kind of see amino acids and proteins, they have a lot of very important roles to play in your body, besides just trying to maintain or gain muscle. There are essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. Now, what does that mean? Essential means it's something that we need from a different source because our body does not produce it. Non-essential, and non-essential means your body actually produces it. But when it comes to the non-essential amino acids, a lot of times we might need to supplement. It could be because of impaired absorption. It could be because of infection. It could be stress, drug or alcohol use, because of age or imbalances in nutrient intake, or because of the kind of goal you're trying to achieve, because of weight loss, because of weight gain, or you're a competitor, advanced athlete, whatever that may be. And so there's so many factors that come into play. So there also is the misconception, a lot of people think that just eating something that says protein, you're getting your protein in, you're gonna get bulky, you're gonna get big, I'm gonna take a protein shake, I'm gonna gain muscle. Each type of protein is composed of a specific amino acid. So whatever it is that you're intaking food-wise is gonna contain a certain amino acid. If you've ever taken the time to look at the back of the package or the bottle or whatever it is that you're eating, or even the food product, and knowing what's in that food product, it contains a certain amount of nutrients and amino acids. Once you intake these sources, what your body does is it breaks it down and turns it into the protein. Each protein is tailored to a specific need. Your body's like, okay, I know exactly what this is, and it's going to naturally do what it's going to do according to what's present in your body. Hopefully it's starting to make sense that regardless of what kind of diet you're on, you could be vegetarian, you could be vegan, you could be a meat eater, you could be doing paleo, you can be doing keto, carb cycling, you can do doing various different types of diets. But it all comes down to one thing. Whatever your specific goal is, if you're just not training intense, you're maybe just going walks here and there, or you are a competitor, or you're a bodybuilder, or you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to gain weight, whatever it may be, what you're intaking has to be structured to that. You can't be like, hey, I'm just gonna go on plant-based and expect to have this muscly body and no fat. There are very successful vegan bodybuilders out there, but you have to also take in mind, they probably have obtained the knowledge and understand exactly what they're intaking and has structured it according to that to get where they are. You can't just go on a plant-based diet, and I know this, and cut all out meat and still expect the same results as when you were a meat eater, bodybuilding and all of that. Now, depending on what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve, and what you're doing on a daily basis, your body is constantly assembling amino acids to make proteins and cells. Now, this is going to be breaking down and producing all these things as the need arises. Your body is smart. It knows what you're trying to do. It's going to be trying to compensate for that. If the body has depleted its reserves of those essential amino acids, it won't be able to produce proteins that require those amino acids. Even if one amino acid is missing in the body, it cannot complete, proper protein synthesis. Protein synthesis, what does that mean? It means muscle repair, growth, and this can go for various tissues and organs and ligaments in the body. It's about your body as a whole. Besides all the other problems it can cause, for a lot of us, it will cause muscle loss or stunted growth. So people who are trying to gain muscle, it's not going to happen. Now, it doesn't mean all of a sudden freak out that you've got to intake a massive amount of protein and you've got to, because you're going to start losing muscle. You're not going to keep muscle and all these things are going to start happening. That's not what I mean. What I mean is there's a balance to everything. And it just means that if something is lacking, it's not going to be able to do what it needs to properly, especially if you're trying to go for a specific goal and it's not happening. There's a reason why. If you are cutting out all meat from your diet when you are eating a plant-based diet, now this is where you can't just go to plant-based and expect that you're going to gain a bunch of muscle, because you're going to have to understand what each plant, what amino acid that they provide, and if it's going to be providing you enough. Because the other key thing to remember is each and every single food item, plant or animal based, provides a certain amount of amino acids, and some of them are complete amino acids and some of them are incomplete. You have to take in amino acids that fits your needs. A lot of these amino acids from your food or supplementation. And so you can't just keep taking an incomplete protein and expect to get a specific results from that. And I stress this a lot in past videos, is body types. There are 3 different body types. There is endomorph, mesomorph, and ectomorph. Depending on your body type, you can gain muscle really easy. So you're going to achieve your goal a lot quicker than somebody who has the body type who has a really hard time putting on muscle. There's so much more that goes into it, especially if you're trying to achieve a certain physique goal. But we don't want to forget overall health too. If you are thinking of just going all plant-based and cutting out meats, you might have to structure and plan out a little bit more to make sure you're getting in the right amount of amino acids according to what your goal is. Now, if you're somebody who's just wants to go to plant-based, no meats, because you just want to, just for personal reasons and for health, and you're not doing a lot of exercising, you're not trying to gain muscle or lose fat or anything along those lines, you know, it's going to be a little bit more simple. But for the person, for the individual who wants to gain muscle, who wants to burn fat, wants to maintain that muscle, wants to have the curves, now you might have to take a little bit more time and make sure you're getting in the proper amount. If a certain amino acid isn't present in your body when you're trying to achieve a certain goal, your body's not going to be able to achieve that. And also, if you are plant-based or vegan, it's really, really, really important. Highly recommend BCAAs for that, and there are many options out there. I follow intuitive eating. Again, it's listening to my body. It's listening to, so I eat until I'm full. If I'm not hungry, I don't force feed myself. And when it comes to certain food items, I'm not like, oh, I have to eat this, and I make myself eat it. If I'm not feeling that, I do not eat it. If I want this, I'm gonna eat this. You know, and I've been doing this long enough now that I crave the vegetables, I crave the fruits, I crave certain fats. I don't crave like cookies and processed things and chips and things like that, because it's been out of my diet for a long time. I don't have all that processed stuff in my house, so it's not easily accessible. Something that you do consistently every day, you're naturally going to do it, and you're naturally going to want that. When it comes to food, if you're constantly eating the processed foods, you're naturally going to be craving those foods all the time, because it's constantly in your diet, it's constantly going in your mouth and your body. If it's not there, over time it disappears. And I know this from my own experience over the years of cutting that stuff out. Don't get me wrong, I still do enjoy myself, but it's as a treat. It's like 1 or 2 times a month, if that. I do have a lot of you guys ask me too, what about portion sizes? Like, how do you, because you're not tracking, you're not measuring. Again, I go back to my hand. You guys probably see those little things that float around all the time, how they talk about different serving sizes like teaspoon, tablespoon, 1 cup, 1/2 cup, things like that. I don't follow that specifically, but I do kind of pay attention to my hand. So when I am serving myself something, I usually go by a fist size. If it's a double training day, sometimes I'll double up that size and I'll do 2 fist size. Don't let your mind go to the gutter right now. Mine just did. That's kind of how I base off my serving sizes. I might have eggs in the morning and eggs at night before bed. I think one other meal might have shrimp. For example, there'll be some days that I crave tomatoes, I crave cucumber, I crave avocado, or the combination or something. Reminding you again, I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. I have this healthy relationship with food. A lot of you who are struggling with portion sizes, with binge eating, whatever it is, if you're struggling with your diet right now, going to a structured plan, maybe tracking things is what you need to do right now to keep you on track and keep you from going backwards or going over serving sizes. That is okay. I've done that, and I have to do that with a lot of my clients. And you slowly, when you're consistent and you're working, you know what your goal is and you're working towards that goal, you're going to get there eventually. It's just staying on track and staying consistent and keeping with it. It's when you stop, go all chaotic, and then come back and try to do it again. Stop, go all chaotic, and come back again. That's where you end up doing the yo-yoing. You keep going back and forth. You end up in this horrible cycle, negative cycle. And I've talked about this too, even with mental and your spiritual aspect of you keep going like this. You want to stop going like this and just keep going that way. Keep going forward. Sometimes you might have to come back, but it's never coming back around, never doing this and keep doing this. You know, you might be going and then you have to come back. Okay, now I'm gonna go forward again. Oh, I have to come back, go forward. That's how it goes for everything in life. Multiple times a day with that, because I'm like, I want it. I'll eat it. Then a little bit later in the day, I'm like, oh, I want it again. And I'll eat it again. Then the next day, I'm like, you know, I'm over cucumber. I want zucchini. I want pineapple. That's kind of how intuitive eating ends up working, is you crave those things and I eat them when I want them. The biggest thing is I do really time and structure around my workouts, around my training, because that is important. Usually I always keep my complex carbs, which is like sweet potatoes and rice and oatmeal. Those are like my main consumption of complex carbs, are usually within an hour around my workouts that I eat those, and then of course my carb drink. And so I really do time those, and then my fruits, because they are simple carbs, fast absorbing carbs. Usually about maybe 1/2 to 1 cup of egg whites, or maybe one to 2 whole eggs. It varies from day to day. I do probably 1 to 2 scoops of BCAAs a day. Whey protein only 1 time a day, maybe 2 times depending on how intense my training was that day, if I do double days. If you are going plant-based, you need to, again, what are your specific goals for that? What are your long-term goals with that? Are you trying to gain muscle? Are you trying to gain muscle and lose fat? Are you trying to maintain muscle? What kind of athlete are you? Are you just the run a couple miles a week, maybe do yoga? Or are you the bodybuilder? Are you the extreme athlete? Are you training 6 days a week, intense? Are you lifting heavy weight? Are you lifting lightweight? Are you only doing cardio-based workouts? Are you taking just cardio classes? Body type, what body type are you? You can also refer to my past videos on body type to get a better understanding. Again, that's gonna help you. So hopefully what I shared in this video has answered your guys' questions and might help you be a little bit more successful in whatever path you're going to take. I'm working really hard, you guys, on my meal app, my nutrition app, which is going to be coming this year. I actually am going to be filming it next month. So we are getting that much closer to nutrition by HUNNYBUNS, Jen Heward, on your phone. If you haven't checked the app out already, please check it out. You know, join today, try it out. You know, I have a lot of new stuff coming. But thank you guys so much for following me on my journey, always being a part of it. Some of you guys have been there for a very long time. Welcome, a lot of you newbies. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please like and share. And also, you can follow me on social media if you haven't already, to keep up to date on a lot of other things. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you on the next video. Mwah!